Welcome to Joy of Business Radio, hosted by Joy of Business facilitators from around the world, with special shows from Simone Milasas, the founder and creator of Joy of Business. Are you bored or dissatisfied with your work or business? Joy of Business is an invitation to a completely new way of creating. Did you know your business and job can actually be fun and joyful? If what you are currently doing isn't working for you, listen into this show full of pragmatic tools from Access Consciousness, which change everything in business, from money to finance, staff, creativity, productivity, communication, and beyond. Joy of Business Radio, weekly on OMTimes Radio.
Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the Joy of Business on OMTimes Radio. I will be your host for this episode. My name is Kerry Garner Venter, and I'm a certified Access Consciousness facilitator and certified Joy of Business facilitator, and I'm really delighted to be with you all today. Today's topic is what to do when your business feels like a jail. So how many of you out there feel like your business has been a bit of a jail lately, and or for a long time, who knows? So that's what today's topic is about. We're going to be really diving into how you can actually get out of your jail, how you can set yourself free from all of those yucky feelings like you're trapped and stuck and overwhelmed, and you can actually experience the joy of business, because it is totally possible. And how does it get any better than that? So unfortunately, today you won't be able to dial in and ask me any questions, but you certainly would be able to leave some comments and questions there, and we monitor that, and we can always get back to you when you have some questions. So let's dive into what is a jail. So a jail is actually an acronym that we in Access Consciousness have recently kind of started to speak a lot about, and it's a really, really cool acronym and just metaphor for, you know, really what a lot of people experience in their business, in that they feel like they literally are, you know, jailed or limited by their business. And so I'm going to explain to you what this jail, this acronym that we've discovered stands for, which is, so the J is for judgment, the A is for agendas, the I is inventions, and the L is the lies. So we're going to dive into how, when you are operating and functioning from judgments, agendas, inventions, and lies, you really can start to feel like you're trapped in your business, and that your business can feel like a real jail. So today, you know, we're going to look at what are these judgments, agendas, inventions, and lies? Where do they come from, and why do we have them? And how do you tell if you're functioning from them? How can you actually become more aware of these judgments, agendas, inventions, and lies? And how, most importantly, can you free yourself from them? So if you have, let's start with the judgments. So you may want to grab, you know, a paper and pen for some notes, or just really start to take some mental notes about all of this, because it's a topic that is pervasive, you know, in all areas of life. Because from the Joy of Business perspective, you know, when Simone Milasas wrote her first book, The Joy of Business, she really enlightened and started, I would say, a new paradigm when it comes to understanding and recognizing that business is not separate from your life and living. In fact, what we love to say is, you know, if you wake up in the morning and you have blood running through your veins, you are in business. And what does that mean? Well, it means that you're in the business of living and having a joyful life. And if you are separating your business from life, first and foremost, that is one way to experience, you know, this jail type mentality where you can feel like you have to, you know, go off to work, and it feels burdensome, and it feels like you might have shackles on that you have to go and now graft and do hard work and not experience the joy and the fun and the ease of, whatever it was that you were doing prior to going into work. And so whether or not you have a business, whether you have an actual job, none of that really matters, because we're all in business. We are all in the business of life and living. And when you start to recognize that, and you start to ask the question, well, what would I like my life and business to be like? Do I want to have these shackles on me? Do I want to feel like it's a drag to go and do my business, AKA my life? Then, a whole new world of possibilities can start to show up, because it's like, well, what else is really available to me that I've never considered? And if you can start to function from that question of what else is available that I've never considered, you can actually start to get out of the judgment, the first jail, so to speak, the judgment of that there is something wrong with being in business, or that there is something right that you're not doing in business. Because judgment is both a positive and a negative. It's both what we perceive as or judge as good and bad, right and wrong, better and worse. So it's essentially both sides of this polarity, right? Any side of duality that perpetuates this right and this wrong, the good, the bad, the better, the worse. Because in actuality, there is no such thing as right or wrong. There's no such thing as doing business the right way. There's no such thing as you being wrong in any way, shape, or form, or in fact being right. Because if you are outside of that judgment jail, the jail of judgment, if you're operating outside of the parameters of judgment of good, bad, right, wrong, and that polarity and duality, all there is possibility. All there is question of, well, what else is possible, and how else can I do this? How else could I actually go about my life and my business? How else can I sell to my customers? What else could I sell to my customers? What else could I be or do in my business that would create more income or more money flows? So all of these questions open you up to more possibility. And when you have more possibility and more question in your world and in your business and life, and you're not functioning from the judgment of what you're doing right or wrong, suddenly there's so much more joy that can be infused in that, and that you can experience from and with that. So, if you have found yourself waking up in the morning or finding yourself in the judgment of, what you should be doing, what you have to be doing, what you ought to be doing, what you need to be doing, what that gives you, what those language clues are really that you have injected the values of others, or the expectations and the projections of other people in this reality, and you are starting to judge what you know to be true for you as less than, or as wrong, or as not viable, or not good enough, or whatever it is, and you are injecting, or you are essentially saying that it's essentially like an agenda. Their point of view is more right and true for you than your own. And so what I would really encourage all of you and invite you to start doing is really asking, what is it that you bought into? Because those are the lies. So we're going to jump all the way to the end of the L, the jail. The L stands for lies. And oftentimes the things that we are judging, the reason that we are judging something as right or wrong or good or bad or better or worse, is that we've bought the lie that there is such a thing as a better and a worse, a good and a bad, a right and a wrong, that there's a right way to do business, that there's a right way to be living, that there's a right way to go about our business, and that other people have figured out this right way, right? And that we are wrong in doing it our way, or doing it the way that we know to be true for us. And so anytime you're discounting your own knowing, you want to be asking the question, am I buying the lie of someone else? Am I buying the lies of this reality? Am I buying the lies that I don't know what I know and that other people have the right answer? Because if that's the case, right, that's going to lead you astray. It's going to lead you down a very dark rabbit hole where you will constantly be questioning what you know, but not questioning from the questions that I was talking about earlier, where it opens you up into the infinite possibilities that exist. It's the questioning of like, well, why am I not getting this right? Why am I not doing it the right, good, perfect, correct way? Why is nothing that I'm trying working? Questioning from the skeptic, questioning from the doubt, questioning from the wrongness of you is never going to actually create anything, because that's judgment. You're essentially judging yourself, and you're just putting a question mark on the end of that rhetorical judgment or question. And that's not judgment. That's not question, that's judgment. And whenever you are in judgment, it is killing all possibility and it's killing all creation. So if you haven't been feeling very creative in your business, if you've been feeling stagnant and you've been feeling down, you've been feeling like, you're really not getting anywhere with what you would like to be doing or being in business, you might want to start looking at where you are in judgment. And let's go to the positive side of judgment, right? So judgment with the positive side sounds like, oh, this is the right way to do it. And this is what I'm not doing. Or I wish I was like that person because they've got it all figured out and I don't. Oh, I wish that I could be like that person. It's the positive side of judgment where you become infatuated or enamored with or by someone or something else. Or, oh, this product is my best seller, and so this is the right way to sell moving forward. Or this process has worked really well for me, and so I'm going to stick with this one. Well, again, that's a judgment that it's the best way or it's the right way or it's worked for you. And what you want to start asking yourself is, well, what else is possible? What else could I sell? What other way could I implement this in a way that is going to give me better results? How does it get any better than this? What else is possible that I haven't yet considered? Because when you get into those questions, it gives you access to more of your awareness and to more of what is available, to more of the choices that become available for you to choose from. Now, am I saying that, whatever's working for you needs to, go away, or that you can't actually operate from that anymore? No, that's totally not what I'm saying. But if you judge it as, now this is the way, this is the right way, this is the best way, and you don't allow something else greater to show up or to be in your awareness, that's actually when things go awry. So we are going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to dive into the rest of the acronym of JAILS.
No one needs to have a money problem, especially you.
Yeah, did you hear that? You have an unlimited and mostly unaccessed capacity to create money and a financial reality that works for you. Simone Milasas has a brand new book. It's called Getting Out of Debt Joyfully. And right now, when you go to gettingoutofdebtjoyfully.com, if you pre-order the book, you'll get a free online course. What if you can create money in ways no one else can? Just go to gettingoutofdebtjoyfully.com to get your copy today.
Host your show on IOM-FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM-FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Aloha, my name is Jennifer O'Neill, and I'd like to invite you to come join me every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time for my show, Spirit Chat. Spirit Chat focuses on simplifying the process of using the spiritual tools and gifts you were born with in a way that fits into your everyday life. I also teach different techniques that will help you learn how to navigate the spirit realm and empower you on your own spiritual journey. So join me this Wednesday as I guide you through the spirit world.
The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. The cutting edge of conscious radio, OMTimes Radio, IOM FM.
Welcome back, everybody. So you are speaking with Kerry Garner Venter. I'm hosting you today, and our topic is what to do when business feels like a jail. And remember that jail is actually this really cool acronym that we've come up with, which stands for judgments, agendas, inventions, and lies. And I was so excited to talk about, how these four things can really be massive limitations in your life and business. And so we've gone through judgment. So now let's jump into the agendas. And agendas are really something that, anytime you make a decision or you take a point of view about something, and this could be in any and all lifetimes, and because everything is energy and, science has totally proven that without a doubt, the interesting thing is that consciousness survives after, so-called death. It's just constantly transforming, and consciousness includes everything and judges nothing. And so, these Joy of Business tools from Access Consciousness are remarkable in that they change the energy and they give you more, literally, access to consciousness. And because consciousness includes everything and judges nothing, when you are more conscious and you have more awareness, you have more choice, you have more possibility in, your life and your business. And so agendas are the things that they're like a point of view that you've taken about something throughout any and all lifetime. And so if, in another lifetime, you took a particular decision to never be successful in business again, or to never make as much money as you did, or to never, be the cruel, greedy boss that you may have been, and never be vilified again, or whatever it is, that energetic point of view starts to affect, or continues to affect you throughout all space-time dimensions and lifetimes, and whatever else exists that, we may not be aware of or perceiving. And so it doesn't matter whether you, believe in past lives or not. The fact remains that, that energy, that decision, that point of view, that form is going to affect you and ripple throughout all of space and time. And so it's going to prevent you from being successful in business. And so when you experience these quote unquote jails, when you feel like you're in a jail with your business, like you just can't move past something, you keep repeating certain patterns, you keep sabotaging yourself, you may have what we call a secret agenda running in the background. It's kind of like an app or a program that runs on your computer in the background that you're not aware of, that is, programming your computer to do certain things. And it's programming you, it's programming your business to do certain things and to operate and function in ways that may not actually be serving you. So how do you get rid of them? Well, you've got to be aware of them, firstly, by asking a question and really, being open to the possibility that there could be this secret agenda running in the background. So the way to do it is just simply by asking a question. The beautiful thing about all of these tools in Joy of Business and with Access Consciousness is that they are so simple and so pragmatic, and you can weave them seamlessly into your everyday life. You don't have to go off and, carve out time to meditate or, levitate or gravitate towards anything. You just have to literally ask a question like, well, truth is a secret agenda running me right now? What is this? Simply as saying, like, what is this that's going on right now? And then allowing that awareness to permeate and to fill you is really what's all that's required. And to say, okay, so can I change it? And getting a sense of yes or no. Do I require some facilitation? Do I require, someone to assist me in unpacking what this is? And do I need to be more aware of what this is? Sometimes, being aware of the ins and outs and the details is required for whatever reason. We don't have to understand why we need to be aware of it, but sometimes that's just the case. And so if that's the case, are you willing to actually, receive that awareness and trust it and follow it and listen to it? And if you don't need to be aware of it, so if you don't need more detail around it, if you get a no, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate whatever energetic pattern that is? And the simple way of doing that is just to do it, is just to choose something different. Choice is remarkable in that it creates something different when you choose something different. Einstein has said it. It's a quote that gets paraphrased so often, that the definition of insanity is when we keep doing the same thing over and over. We keep choosing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So, every time, every way you're choosing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result and not being aware of or not perceiving the insanity that is perpetuating, would you destroy and uncreate all of that? Would you destroy and uncreate every way you're not willing to choose something different? Anything, and that's a perfect example of where you don't have to be aware of what it is that's destroying and that you're going to destroy and uncreate, or what's limiting you, or what's preventing you from, succeeding in business, or from overcoming, whatever it is that the limitation is. You don't even have to know what the limitation is. You just have to be prepared to choose to destroy and uncreate it and choose something different. How easy is that? And would you be willing to have your life and your business be as easy as that? And everything that doesn't allow that, everything that doesn't allow you to just have ease with your life and business, would you destroy and uncreate all that? Now, if you want to get a little bit more advanced, if you can just stop there and choose something different, choose to destroy and uncreate it. And if you want to use another really cool tool in the Joy of Business and with Access Consciousness, it's called the Clearing Statement. And you can go to theclearingstatement.com to find out more information about this. But the Clearing Statement is a string. It's an acronym. It's a long string of abbreviations, words that are abbreviated, that stand for particular energies that just bring up all of these energies that are limiting us, and it changes them. That's as simple as that. You need to know. It just changes the energy so that you can choose something different. So everything that doesn't, and I'm going to say it in a minute, everything that doesn't allow you to actually have more ease in your life and in your business, would you destroy and uncreate it all? Times a godzillion, right, wrong, good, bad, all nines, puck, pud, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So why do we say times a godzillion? What does that mean? Well, it means that we're multiplying, we're timesing the energy by a number only so big, only God knows how big it is, which is why we call it godzillion. And then the right and the wrong, good and bad, puck and pod, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyond. That's the Clearing Statement. That stands for literally pages and pages and pages and pages of questions and other things that just points to, everywhere. It collapses the charge, the right, the wrong, the good, the bad that we were talking about on the first part of the call before the break. It dissipates all of that electromagnetic energy so that you can be clear of that charge and choose something different. Because when you are constantly, like if you imagine your computer has all of these files on it, or has all of these programs and these apps that are running in the background that are either positive or negative, good, bad, right, wrong. They relate to all of these different points of views, right? We're talking about the agendas. There are all these scripts or files that are telling you what you've decided or taken as a point of view in any and all space, time, dimension, lifetime. And now these scripts are so-called running in the background. They're controlling your life and your business. And the clearing statement is just bringing up all of those scripts, all of those files, all of those codings, all of those programs, and it's just pushing delete. It's just literally emptying the trash so that all the charge that's associated with that can just go away, can dissipate. And so you have a clean slate to work from. And so how awesome would it be to just be willing to use this clearing statement, right, wrong, good, bad, all nines, puck, pod, shorts, boys, and beyonds, or to just destroy and uncreate everything, all these secret agendas, all these points of views, all these decisions that you've made in any and all space, time, dimension, lifetimes in the past, that are affecting you now and that are affecting you in the future. And everything that doesn't allow that, right, wrong, good, bad, all nines, puck, pod, shorts, boys, and beyonds, times of God's lane. So the quick way to puck and pod, you can just puck and pod. That's an abbreviation that could make it even easier before you start to become more familiar with all of the different words. Because remember, everything is energy. So it doesn't really matter. You can't do this wrong. You can't clear energy in a wrong way. It's just, it's just energy. And so even if you just become more aware of the energy that is pervading and that is pervasive in your life and in your living and in your business, and you choose to change that energy, you choose to show up differently, you choose to be a different energy, all it takes is choice. And that choice will create something very different. So even if like all of that, blew your mind, which is, by the way, a good thing, the mind only seeks answers, and answers shut down neural pathways in the brain and give you limited access to what else is possible. Even if it just blew your mind and you just choose something different, that's okay. That's an awesome tool to have, is choice. And are you exercising your tool enough? Are you exercising the choice that you have to change the way you operate and function and be in business that you may never have considered before? So how do you get out of the jails? How do you get out of the judgments, the agendas, the inventions, and the lies? Well, you have to choose something different. You have to choose to be something different. You have to choose to do something different. And if you're not choosing something different, you're going to continue to experience the results that you have in life. And judgment, going back to the J in the jail, if you judge your choices, that's going to kill your ability to keep choosing, your ability to keep creating something different. So there's no reason to judge. And now you have a couple more tools. So we will see you, I'll speak to you after this break, and we'll dive into the invention of sales.
Have you ever wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free today at ascendinghearts.com and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake.
Tune in to the Practical Intuitive, Mind, Body, Spirit for the Real World with me, host Robin Fritz, Mondays at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 Eastern. I'll cover personal and business intuition, animal communication, mediumship, space clearing, past life regression, shamanic insights, energy healing, soul choice, and more, all to help you tap your own intuitive and healing skills. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Host your show on IOM-FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM-FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Putting the fun back in business. Wake up, go to work, come home, watch TV, go to bed, repeat. Business, work, your job, hate it, bored, want to leave it? Or business, work, your job, fun, play, joy, fun. Which would you like to choose? You may not know this, but business, your job, work can actually be fun. Shake up your business routine. Check out my 3-part free video series on putting the fun back in business. Go to accessjoyofbusiness.com/fun and put the fun back in business.
Connecting you with the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Welcome back. This is Kerry Garner Venter with Joy of Business on the OMTimes radio show, and we are talking about what to do when your business feels like a jail. So we've covered the jail as an acronym, the judgments, the agendas, and now we're going to dive into the inventions, and we will then go into the lies, which we've touched on just briefly. So we were talking a lot about choice and exercising that choice, because so many people are looking for the answers. They're looking for a way to get out of their quote unquote jail, their business as this jail that they're, in. And it doesn't, the thing about answers, which I'll just quickly talk about, is that answers shut down neural pathways in your brain. They're literally end points. And I know that we've been invited and encouraged and taught to look for the answers and to seek the answers, to have the answers, to figure out the answer. And sure, there are times when that's appropriate and relevant. And answers are endpoints. So once you have an answer, there's no more reason to explore, to question, to investigate, to innovate. So creativity and innovation are not born from answers. They're born from asking questions, being curious, discovering, evolving, looking at how else can we do this? What else is possible? How can we do this even better? But an answer, if someone has figured out an answer, there's no rhyme or reason typically. It's that's typically when people say, well, we have the answer, or this is the way we do it. This is the way we've always done it. And so if that's the point of view that you're taking in your business, this is the way that I've always done it, or this is the way, it's been done for years, or this is the way everyone else is doing it. Those start to become these inventions in a way, because we start to invent and it kind of is like a lie. It's a process within, we start to engineer the reasons and justifications for why we can't change, or why we can't do something different, or why we can't receive something in a new way. And so an invention is really, when you look it up in Wikipedia, it's literally defined as a process within an overall engineering and product development process. And it's a unique or novel device or method or composition or process, which is an invention. But an invention really is when you are uniquely, you've invented a reason or a justification or a particular way of going about something or doing something that you have now decided is the way that it is, or the way that something is going to be solved, or the way that something's going to be figured out, or the way that something's going to turn out. You can invent problems. You can invent things that are not just what you would normally consider as inventions. And this is the really cool thing about understanding how we can actually put ourselves into a jail in our business. Because when we are inventing why we can't do things, or why things won't work, those are points of views that become inventions that limit and stop the creative flow or the question into what else is possible or how something else can be done. And what that does is it cuts off all of the awareness that we could have access to and that we could be conscious of, where things that are even greater than what we have decided to be true, or right or good or perfect or correct or terrible or miserable or horrible or challenging or difficult to be true, where we could transcend that. Because that's what really question does, is real questions. They get us into what else is possible here that I haven't considered. What is this that I haven't yet considered? can I change it? If so, how? And, what is this point of view that I'm taking? Is it serving me? Is it limiting me? What if I didn't believe this? What if this wasn't so? What if this wasn't the only way to go about selling to customers, to doing social media, to selling a product, to finding clients, to approaching business? Like, what if you didn't have to wake up and feel like, you were in a jail? What if business could actually be fun? What if business could be joyful? If you've invented that business is this hard, difficult, challenging thing that you need to somehow solve or overcome or work hard at, you may very well consider or feel like you are in a jail just because of that invention, that point of view that you've invented, which is not necessarily true. So what if it wasn't so? What would you need to be or do different to make business more fun, to have more fun in your business and in your AKA life? Because remember, life and business, you're in business, whether or not you have a business, whether or not you have a physical business and you sell products and services, like you are in the business of life and living. And so how are you doing that? And are you having fun in your life, but not in your business? Well, what could you pull in to your business? How could you approach your business in the same way that you've never considered? Because you've invented this whole big thing that business is a difficult, serious thing. Well, what if business wasn't as serious and wasn't as, gloomy and glummy as you had already decided it was, or had bought? Here comes the lie that you had bought from other people was the case. I mean, there's so many different examples of people that have totally broken the paradigm that we buy into. Tim Ferriss invented the 4-hour work week. It wasn't an invention. It wasn't a process. It wasn't a thing until he was like, you know what? This needs to be a thing. I'm going to invent something because it's fun. It's changed my life. It can change other people's lives, and people need to know about this. He invented that. So what could you invent? What systems could you put in place in your business that you've never considered that could actually change everything and give you more joy in business, that could free you from the jail that you've put yourself in by inventing it as a jail? And the thing with acknowledging what you're being or doing is the first step to actually setting yourself free. So everywhere that you haven't been willing to acknowledge where you're setting yourself into your own jail, or you're buying the inventions of other people that are creating jails for you as your business, would you destroy and uncreate all that? Times of Godzillion, right, wrong, good, bad, all minds, puck, pud, shorts, boys, and beyond. So remember that there is always something else that's possible. You always have another choice to make. You can always be or do something totally different in your business. And when you invent, an invention doesn't just have to be a product. But it could be a product. It could be a service. It could be a whole new way of going about life and business. So it's like, in Joy of Business, we talk about, like, what do you know about business? What do you know that you haven't been willing to know and acknowledge? Because if you're not willing to acknowledge it, what then happens is you become at the effect of it, and you start buying in to all of these other people's processes or inventions and lies that are not necessarily true for you. And that's what typically, kicks people into judging themselves, because they start to judge what they're not doing and how they're not being like everyone else and how they're not following the herd. But whoever said that the herd was the place to be? So everywhere that you are preventing you from knowing what you know and following what you know because you are so invested in and contracted to the herd, would you destroy and uncreate all of that? Times a Godzillion, right, wrong, good, bad, all nines, puck, pud, shorts, boys, and beyonds. A lot of business advice out there never get to these types of questions of like, or the point of creation, which is what POC stands for, point of creation, the point at which you started to create this invention, this point of view, this belief, this decision, and the point at which it started to destroy you, the point of destruction, which is the pod. Remember, right and wrong, good and bad, POC and pod. So the POC and the pod of the clearing statement, is literally energetically going to those spaces and places that you've never considered, or that you may not ever need to consider logically or rationally or, mentally. You don't need to maybe know where the point of creation was or at what point it started to destroy you, but you just need to change it. So everything that doesn't allow you to know that things can just be changed energetically, would you destroy and uncreate all that? Times a godzillion, right, wrong, good, bad, all nines, POC, pod, shorts, boys, and beyonds. These are the most, amazing times that we are living in, where we have access to these tools and these awarenesses and a new paradigm that exists for how you can be in life and business. And, there's so many amazing tools, in business that are pragmatic and that can change, how you actually approach business and do business. But if you're not open to them, if you're not willing to actually start applying the tools, you won't experience this massive paradigm shift. You won't experience what else is possible. And sometimes, leaving the herd and trying things that are a little bit wild and weird and wacky and different can be daunting, and it can be overwhelming, and it can you can find yourself at the whim of, or at the helm of, or I don't know what the real word is, but you can find yourself at the effect of people judging you and vilifying you and saying, like, what the hell are you on about? POC and pod and schmod and wad? Like, what is that all about? But will you ever know if you don't try something different, choose something different? And what, if you're not changing the energy, I mean, everything is energy. And so now we have amazing tools that literally go to the point at which things started. You created, you invented these things that are limiting you. And you now have the ability to totally change that, even though you don't know, you don't have to go and sit and figure it out or figure out why you invented it or figure out how you invented it. You just need to know that it's not working and change it and choose to change it. And it's as simple as that. Promise. It's as simple as that. So I will see you in just a few minutes, or hear you in a few minutes. Enjoy the break.
What do you hate about business? And do you want to change it? If you don't want to change anything about your job or business, stop listening. You're all good. If you'd like to have money just for the fun of it and stop the negative self-talk, check out Joy of Business. This is about knowing what you know about business and creating more than you can imagine. Access Joy of Business 101 classes offered around the world. Go to accessjoybusiness.com/101.
As difficult as it is to believe, there are places in Africa where human traffickers sell albino children and their body parts for use in magic rituals. Humanity Healing International is actively working in Uganda to change this paradigm. The Albino Rescue Project finds albino children who are at risk and places them in safe schools and environments where they can learn and grow free from fear. To learn more or to sponsor a child, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. Are you trying to get from point A to point B and need a little advice? Connect with the counselors at OMTimes Advisors. Whether you're looking for a life coach or a spiritual intuitive, the advisors participating at advisors.omtimes.com were carefully chosen based on their gifts, skills, and professionalism. OMTimes Advisors, connecting you with the best advisors in the business.
Hello, I'm Lisa Berry. Join me every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time for Light on Living. A chance to see new, hear different, and feel more as I shine the spotlight on all the ways to lighten the load of life's challenges. Light on Living is your link to that new way you're looking for, that new understanding that will enhance your life, and that positive connection that will support your growth. So join me, and you'll gain insight and start to see things in a new way that motivates you.
Your conscious connection to a more mindful world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Welcome back, everybody. So we are nearing the end of the show. This has been such an awesome topic, what to do when your business feels like a jail, and jail being an acronym for some pretty limiting things like judgments, agendas, inventions, and lies. So, let's dive into the lies, because we all know that whenever there's a lie, it can feel pretty heavy, and it can, when you're lying to yourself, it. When other people are lying to you, you typically know it, but you might be avoiding your awareness of that knowing. And we've just gone through the inventions where we try and over-engineer and figure things out and try to answer things or produce these reasons and justifications for, whatever it is that we've bought into. And so what I want to make you aware of is that the lies that you might be operating from could very well be the inventions that other people, have, or the points of views from other people that you've bought, and then you create these inventions on top of that. So, so for example, Tim Ferriss, who created the 4-Hour Work Week and wrote that great book and totally invented this new way of being and doing business, which, has totally revolutionized a lot of people's worlds, and is so cool. That's a perfect example of all of these jails, right? The judgments, the agendas, the inventions, and lies in the form of, if you judge it as the best process, right? The best way of approaching work, that's a positive judgment. And if you judged it as, oh, that's shit, that's impossible, that's, that'll never work, that's an example of a negative judgment. So instead of judging it, what you could do is just say, well, I wonder what else is possible with this? Like, what contribution could a 4-hour work week be for me? Is that true for me? Because what happens is you not only could judge the thing itself, right, which is this new process or new way of working. You could judge it as good, bad, right, wrong, perfect, correct, etc., both sides of the judgment. But you could also start to judge yourself for not instituting or not having a 4-hour work week, and start asking, that rhetorical judgment question of like, well, what's wrong with me? Why isn't it working for me? Which is not really a question. It's a judgment. It's a judgment that there's something wrong with you and that you should be doing this 4-hour work week, or that you should have this thing put in place and that you should be doing it because that's the right way. That's a lie. That's a lie. It's an invention, and it could be a secret agenda that you're actually operating from, that, oh, well, if I don't have a 4-hour work week, or because I don't have a 4-hour work week, it means this. It means that I'm terrible, awful, never going to succeed in business, or that I'm not succeeding in business, which is a load of crap. It just because it may work for some and it might work for you sometimes doesn't mean that it's always going to be the case. So really operating from awareness and from question and from choice will get you out of those judgments, those agendas, those inventions, and those lies, and into what's true for you. What's going to actually work for you that you've never considered, or that you have considered, but, have potentially made more, that you've made more significant than your awareness of what's true in the moment. Because here's the thing with business and with life, is that things are constantly changing. Things are always changing, and the economy is changing, governments are changing, and all of that energy, essentially, right? Like everything is ultimately just energy. And so when you are following the energy of what it is that you are trying to bring into this reality, or into your own reality, into the future, now and in the future. And you're following the things that match that energy. That's actually going to give you the clearest and the most direct shot at achieving your targets. Because otherwise, what you'll end up doing is buying into the lies of everyone else, all the inventions of everyone else, and operating from these secret agendas, or otherwise these points of views, these reasons and justifications that you're taking on as real and true, that you have to. And so all these things kind of feed each other, these judgments, agendas, inventions, and lies. So when you're buying into the lie, let's do a little recap. When you find yourself or listen to your language as using words like I have to, I should, I must, I need to, I ought to, that's indicative of you, or you want to actually ask a question. You want to be like, do I? Is that true? Is that really true for me? And if it lightens up, if when you ask that question, is it true for me, to whatever you're asking, and it lightens up, you smile, you kind of giggle, you laugh, you do a little smirk, that's light. That's a lightness. It's load off your shoulders. It's giving you an indication that that's not true for you. That is. But if it's heavy in whatever way, shape, or form, if there's something heavy, that indicates that there's a lie, spoken or unspoken. A spoken lie is something that that it's kind of an extroverted or it's explicit. Unspoken is more implicit. It's something that is not yet spoken. In any of those cases, you want to keep asking questions like, okay, well, what is true for me? And everything that doesn't allow me to know what's true for me, destroy and uncreate it all, puck and put it all. Because if you're not choosing what's true for you, you're going to feel overwhelmed. You're going to feel like you're scattered. You're going to feel like you're in a jail in your business because it's not yours. You're not meant to be in a jail in your business or in your life. Life and business are not meant to feel like a jail. They're meant to be joyful. They're meant to be these amazing vehicles for us to experience and to create and to continuously create. Not from like, oh, this creation is better than this creation. It's just like keep choosing, keep creating, keep having more fun. Like what if the whole purpose of business and life was just to have fun? Like what would you choose if that was the thing that you actually operated from, the point of view that you actually chose to function from? What would that change in your business? I mean, just imagine like how that could actually change everything in your business, and how you could actually stop feeling like you are in a jail with your business, because your business is one of the most could be one of the most freeing vehicles of creation and change. And if you consider that your life is your business, it's your business to live and to have a phenomenal life and living, if that's your sole business, wouldn't you want it to be fun and joyful and full of ease? Wouldn't you want to be free of all of the judgments, the agendas, the inventions of lies of what you have to do and what you should do and what you need to do and what you must do, but rather what's true for you and what will be fun for you? And not fun in some fabricated way where you have to so many people misidentify that having joy in business or having fun in business is like where you skip work and you go and do these, you just not do the work. But actually, that's not true. It's like when you're choosing what's true for you, that's when the joy and the fun begins. Because when it's true for you, you're going to have more inspiration. It's going to come from within. You're not going to be reliant on external motivating factors or these agendas and these inventions and these lies that you are buying into that propel you to do something, which is motivation. You'll be inspired from within to do what's actually true and fun for you in your life and business. And so I just invite you to play with these tools and to puck and pod everything that doesn't allow you to do that, and puck and pod all the things, all the judgments, the agendas, the inventions and lies that are preventing you from actually having one of the most fun, joyful businesses, aka lives, that you could possibly have. Because you're so worth it and you deserve nothing more than that. Nothing less than that. Sorry, nothing less than that is what you deserve. So everything that doesn't allow that, would you destroy and uncreate it all? Times a godzillion, right, wrong, good, bad, all nines, puck, pod, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So it's been such a pleasure just having you with me. You know, if you've listened to this whole episode, I'm so grateful for you. And I wonder what else is possible for you now in your life and in your business with these tools, choosing to be you, choosing to change the energy, choosing to puck and pod, choosing to get out of the judgments, the agendas, the inventions, and the lies, choosing to ask more questions, choosing to know what you know, choosing to trust what you know. No one, knows what's true for you more than you. And so everywhere that you haven't been acknowledging yourself and what you know and trusting that, would you destroy and uncreate it all? Times a godzillion, right, wrong, good, bad, all nines, puck, pod, shorts, boys, and beyonds. It's a beautiful thing. You are a beautiful thing when you start to follow what you know and when you start to be who you be in this world. And we need you to be who you be and to trust what you know in your life and in your business, what you know about business, because you know what is going to be joyful and fun for you. Thanks for being with me. Thanks for listening. And I'll see you in another episode.